Okay, let's get started. Once again, good evening. I am Bill Brown. I'm the Director of New Faith Expressions here in the Baltimore-Washington Conference, and along with my colleague, the Reverend Dr. Rodney Smothers, Director of Leadership and Congregational Development, we welcome you to another Training Tuesday. Just a couple of items of business to get us started. You will notice that if you try to use the chat feature tonight, it is not available. We may tell you at points in the evening that you can use it, but right now it's not available. So if you have a question, please use the Q&A feature. I see a number of participants are already raising their hands. Don't bother. We don't use the hand raise feature. So if you have a question, click on the Q&A and we will try to answer that question if we are able to. Any questions that's not able to get answered, hopefully we'll put together a frequently asked questions document and make that available also later this week. But as we get started tonight, I want to introduce and welcome our conference lay leader, Dolores Martin, who is going to open us with a word of prayer. Good evening, Dolores.
Good evening, my friend, and thank you very much. Good evening to everyone. Again, welcome to tonight's Training Tuesday webinar. It will be done by our very wonderful Lay Servant Ministry, and we're so glad that you chose to join us tonight. I believe that you're going to find this presentation very helpful and informative. Before we begin, would you pray with me? Lord, thank you for everyone who joined us tonight, for each mind and heart that fills this virtual space as we gather in your name. We praise you because we know you are here with us and we are grateful. Your will for us does not always reflect our plans. We are working and worshiping in times that only you understand and know what lies in the future. Forgive us for trying to figure out things and worrying too much for answers. Lord, we know that you know, and we must be patient and wait upon you. Bless this meeting and those who planned it and will present the information for us tonight. God, I pray this in the name of the one who makes it possible for us to be here tonight, your Son and our precious Savior, Jesus the Christ. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Amen. Again, Dolores, thank you for joining us. Just so people know, she's going to become an attendee now and participate with you all on that row. So let me just move her down. Okay. We're going to introduce everybody in a moment, but before you get to know us, we want to get to know a little bit about you. So we're going to launch a poll for those who are participating either on their phones, tablets, or computers. You'll be able to see this poll. So first, we want to know what districts are represented. So you should see question, what is your district? Click the appropriate answer. One of these days, I'm going to figure out how we can get background music in, because every time somebody wants us to play the Jeopardy theme or something, so you can hum it to yourself, and that would fill that void. All right, it looks like voting is slowing down, so we're going to end this poll. And not that this is in no way a competition. Now, I know there will be people who are on this call who will think it is a competition, but let's see who is the most well represented. And that would be the Washington East District tonight. It doesn't matter that we have the district superintendent from the Washington East District, but it looks like all of our districts are represented, so that's wonderful. One more question tonight. We'd like to know what role you play. If you are a certified lay servant, a certified lay speaker, a certified lay minister, if you're clergy, if you don't know, or if you're just here to find out, you can answer that. Let us know which category you may fit into. That one is filling up a lot quicker than our last question. That's incredible. And we're going to close that poll out. It looks like voting is slowing down. And most of you know who you are, so that's good. That's very good. We have a lot of certified lay servants with us tonight, so that's excellent. For those who are here to just find out, that's very exciting. For those clergy who are joining us, as a clergy person myself, it's good to see that you're here as well, because it's important that we know as clergy about the role of the certified lay ministries here in our annual conference. And with that, I'm going to allow our panelists to introduce themselves, and I'm going to start with Linda.
Thanks, Bill. Good evening. I'm Linda Flanagan, and I serve as the Conference Director of Lay Servant Ministries, and I'm a certified lay minister.
And in no particular order, well, let's see, I see Carol.
Yes. Hi, folks. I am Carol Travis. I am a certified lay speaker. Excuse me, I spoke wrong already. I'm a certified lay servant, and I am the District Director of Lay Servant Ministries for the Greater Washington District. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you. And Deborah.
Good evening. I'm Deborah Sims, and I am the director for the Frederick District.
Wonderful. Thank you. And from we have several from our conference staff. Tanya.
I am Tanya Bennett. I'm the Frederick District Administrator.
And Christine.
Hi, Christine Taylor. I am the Baltimore Metropolitan District Administrator, and I'm also a certified lay servant.
And last but not least, Dr. Cogman.
Good afternoon or good evening, everyone. I am Reverend Dr. John T. Cogman, the Washington East District Superintendent, here tonight representing the cabinet of the Baltimore-Washington Conference. Welcome to everyone. Thank you.
Wonderful. So we know how to ask questions, and we are going to begin our presentation. So please take it away, Linda.
Thanks, Bill. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. This evening, we expected we might have a pretty broad audience. So we have organized our information around two particular goals, and they are: we want to offer you a program overview of Lay Servant Ministries and its components. We want to also give you some updates. We have some 2020 updates that have been made in light of the COVID-19 virus and other concerns, and we want to make sure that everyone understands those, and to answer your questions, of course. Lay Servant Ministries is a leadership development program of the United Methodist Church. And as such, we are grounded in our mission statement. Of course, we all, as good United Methodists, know that our mission is to make disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world. And when that is placed in our book of discipline, the following sentence says, local churches provide the most significant arena through which disciple making occurs. And friends, that is where the laity comes into this program. As a leadership development program, we are all called. Every single one of us as a lay person is called. And that means that Lay Servant Ministries is for you. It's for every lay person to take part in. We have all been called. We have all been given spiritual gifts. And throughout Scripture, we read of lots of versions of this scripture from 1 Peter. It was to this that God called you. I have called you by name. And so all laity are part of Lay Servant Ministries. It belongs to you. The program is committed to equipping and empowering the laity to answer the call to serve according to their spiritual gifts. And our program is aimed at improving skills and knowledge in order to serve well. Serving well is the important part, because this is important work that we're called to do. It's probably the highest work we will be called to do. It is our purpose, and we want to do it well. We want to give God our best. We want to be excellent. And what the program will do is provide skills and knowledge to help you understand, to help in any area that you would like to study. It is your program, and we welcome you all to it. The Baltimore-Washington Conference supports Lay Servant Ministries at all levels. We work closely with our conference lay leader, Dolores Martin. I serve as the conference director for Lay Servant Ministries, and I work closely with the conference committee of Lay Servant Ministries. That committee is made up of the district directors from all 8 districts across our conference. They are your district directors, and it is to them that you would go first with any questions or concerns you have, because they are there to serve the laity of the district in the Lay Servant Ministries program. We all work together to equip and certify. We provide equipping through the lay servant course offerings that are open to everyone. The classes are developed by Discipleship Ministries out of Tennessee, out of Nashville, Tennessee, with the help of the Upper Room books, which help to form the classes and the leader's guide. Your district directors make up a schedule of classes for each district several times a year and publish them for you to see and consider. Now, it's true that at any time you may take a course in any district. If you work in one district and live in another, you may want to jump districts to get your classes in. Well, in this season of Zoom classes, that's especially true. And you may sign up for a class in any district that you see that is fitting your needs. I would just say to those of you who are certified, if you do go out of your district, make sure you get your credentials and submit them to your district director so that he or she knows that you've done this. And once again, remember, these classes are for everyone. And maybe that's all you want to do is take a class or need to do. That's fine. If your pastor comes to you and asks you to lead prayer occasionally or regularly, and you're willing to do it, but you have a few questions and you'd like to learn more about that, Lay Servant Ministries has a course called Leading Public Prayer. If you've been invited to join the worship committee, there are 2 courses that might help you: Leading Worship and Planning for Worship. It's up to you and God what you are called to do. Some may want to go on and be certified, and I'll talk about that more in a moment. Becoming certified simply means that certification helps you to meet standard, consistent goals for the program across the districts, across the conference, across the connection. And when you become certified, that signifies that you have met those requirements. Certification pathways are divided into 3 roles: certified lay servant, certified lay speaker, certified lay minister. And we will definitely be going into those more deeply, each one. Now, quite frequently I get asked this question: Linda, I don't get it. Why do I have to take, why should I bother with the classes? Why should I bother being certified? If my pastor asks me to do something and I feel that I'm able to do it, I'll do it. I don't need to do any training. Friends, that is absolutely true. Your pastor can invite a lay person to do anything, and you may happily do that. That is, again, between you and your God and your pastor. But there are advantages to being certified. Let's talk about some of those. We all know in the past 12 years, the Book of Discipline has changed, has included changes for lay servant ministries in many cases. When that happens and the legislation changes, discipleship ministry purposefully looks at the courses that are in lay servant ministry courses and updates them, aligns them so that they are current. And that is an important thing, that if you become certified, you're going to have to stay certified by taking courses regularly. So our courses for certification are always the up-to-date ones. And we have current topics and issues that come up in our courses so that when you become certified, you are up to date. You've got the latest information. And certification is very much like a certification in a profession. Consider your doctor, your teacher, your plumber. They all have industry and profession standards that they have to maintain by taking trainings regularly. And that maintains a standard for them. Certification in our program means that you have met a consistent standard of practice and knowledge across the conference, across the connection. You're up to date and it's consistent. People who are certified in the New Mexico Conference have to do the same things that we do. And that's the benefit of that. And frankly, my own personal benefit is that when you take courses to be certified and recertified, and you're in that mix of fellowship of certified people, the cross-pollination of ideas, the sharing that occurs with folks that are outside your own church, and that is invaluable. That is a wonderful benefit. Lay servant ministries are based on 3 pillars of our program. We have leading ministries, we have caring ministries, we have communicating ministries, and all the spiritual gifts lay within these 3 pillars. And that is also reflected in our approved coursework. As I said, our coursework comes from Discipleship Ministries in Nashville, Tennessee, and they work closely with development of courses, keeping them current. And we publish those in a little catalog that you see here, and you'll be hearing more about that and how to download it. And that's the work, the work that your district directors go to when they make your schedule of classes. And this slide simply shows a sampling of the kinds of courses that are available in there. And there are many, many more. And we're constantly working on them. I serve on the education committee of the national group, and we have courses in the pipeline. One that I'm thinking of right now that we've been working on is caring for the those who are suffering from memory loss and dementia patients and persons. We've also been working on one for college age ministry, and several other new ones that are coming. There are always new ones coming. Last year, 2 of the most popular courses were our Justice in Everyday Life and Conflict Resolution courses. These courses fall then into the 3 categories of lay servant ministries and certification. And those are, again, certified lay servant, certified lay speaker, certified lay minister. Each one is separate and different and dependent on different spiritual gifts and different callings. I do want to say this. These 3 categories are not a hierarchy. It's not bachelor's, master's degree, PhD. Nor is it a series of steps. First I'll be this, then I'll be that, then I'll go to that. It may happen that way between you and God and your pastor and DS, but These are separate entities in their own with their own specifications. And we're going to now go into those, each one of them more deeply. I'm going to call on Carol Travis to share with us all about certified lay servant. Carol?
Thank you, Linda. Great job. I just want to say that certified lay servants are an important part of the life of the church, and that we work with our pastors or our pastor's designee, our district superintendent, or the conference commission on the conference committee on lay servant ministries. So I just want you to make sure that you have a conversation with your pastor and let he or she know that you are interested in this role if you've not done so before. So certified lay servants provide leadership, assistance, and support, lead meetings for prayer, training, study, and discussion, conduct or assist in conducting services of worship, preach the word, or give addresses. We also work with appropriate committees and teams to provide congregational and community leadership or foster caring ministries, assist in the distribution of the elements of Holy Communion, teach the scriptures, doctrine, organization, and ministries of the United Methodist Church. Our requirements is, first of all, you need to be a professing and active, let me say again, active member of a local church or charge. You need to obtain a recommendation from your pastor and church council or your church conference of your local church. You must complete the Introduction to Lay Ministry, which is the basic course, and an advanced course for lay servant ministries. You must submit an application for certification with course certificates attached directly to the district director for lay servant ministries for certification. So let me say that again. You need to submit an application for certification with course certificates attached directly to the district director for lay servant ministries. We will tell you who all of those folks are at the end of this presentation. And then every year, each and every year, you need to submit an annual report during our church conference season. For recertification, you must submit an annual report yearly and a renewal application every 3 years. You must obtain recommendations from your pastor and church council or church conference. So what this is also saying is that you don't need to wait until the church conference, that you can have your recommendation approved at your church council meeting. Then you must complete an approved advanced lay servant course every 3 years and apply for recertification. So I'd like to now turn it over to Deb Sims, who will talk about certified lay speaker.
Thank you very much, Carol. I will be speaking with you about the next category for certification in the lay servant ministries, which is the certified lay speaker. A certified lay speaker is a certified lay servant or persons with equivalent training as defined by his or her district conference, who is called and equipped to serve the church in pulpit supply in accordance with paragraph 341.1 of the 2016 Book of Discipline. A lay speaker could be requested to preach the word by the pastor, district superintendent, or committee on lay servant ministries. The certified lay speaker, as mentioned before, is one of 3 ways to serve in the lay servant ministry. Keeping in mind that becoming a certified lay speaker is not a next step in a hierarchy, as Linda said. It is by design a path for those who feel they have a gift and calling to communicate. To become a certified lay speaker, the first step is to become a certified lay servant. Then you must complete 6 courses within the track of study that include the courses displayed on this slide, or they can be found in the lay servant catalog that Linda mentioned previously as well. So the next step is to submit a certified lay speaker application and interview form to the District Committee on Lay Servant Ministries to request an interview. If recommended by the District Committee, you will receive approval for certification by the Conference Committee on Lay Servant Ministries. And to recertify, you would continue to submit an annual report to the church conference, obtain pastor and church council or church conference approval. Then you would complete an approved advanced lay servant ministries course every 3 years. And then interview with the District Committee on Lay Servant Ministries every 3 years for a recommendation to the Conference Committee for approval. Now Linda Flanagan will speak on the CLM information.
Thank you, Deborah. The certified lay ministers' roles are included on your screen here from a paragraph from the Book of Discipline. And you'll see that some are the same as the other two roles and some are different. And then there's a difference at the bottom I want to point out. And I want to remind everyone that these are 3 separate roles and levels of, not levels, categories of certification. Certified lay ministers are called to do the following: conduct public worship, care for the congregation, assist in program leadership, develop new and existing faith communities, preach the word, lead small groups, establish community outreach ministries as part of a ministry team with the supervision and support of a clergy person. And the certified lay minister also has the support and works with us as, with the district superintendent in our placement and our work. So this is a different level of accountability, it's a different level of supervision, and it's a different level of commitment in training. When we look at, let's look now at the roles, of the requirements of the certified lay minister. Once again, we begin by being a lay servant. I hope you've picked up on that. All 3 of these pathways begin with being a lay servant, to be certified first that way. A certified lay minister must also have a recommendation from their pastor and church, and also speak with the district superintendent before beginning. Then a certified lay minister will complete a track of study that has been approved by the conference and discipleship ministries. In the Baltimore-Washington Conference, our track of study is 4 modules, 7 weeks each, taught over a 2-year period, with time in between to develop the demonstration project, which is a significant assignment within our training program. And that project, it shows evidence of our learning, what we have learned about the life of the church and the missions therein. We also must always have a recommendation from the district superintendent to move forward. Once the training is completed, we interview with and obtain recommendation from the district committee on ordained ministry. And that recommendation goes to the Conference Committee on Lay Servant Ministries for approval. Those are the requirements for certification. To be recertified, as everyone else does, we must submit an annual report and undergo a ministry review every 2 years with our pastor and our mutual ministry team, which you set up at your local church or where you're serving. Then we must complete an approved advanced lay servant ministries course every 2 years. That is another difference between the CLM. The CLM is every 2 years. The servant and speaker are every 3 years. So that is something worth pointing out. Recertification also includes, again, a recommendation from the district superintendent and going through the interview process and the recommendation and approval process with the district and conference committees as well. One of the things we want to share with you is a 2020 update to our certified lay minister program. For years, for certification purposes, folks in the conference could take beadisciple.com online courses because that's what's convenient for a lot of people. That's been true for a long time in the Baltimore-Washington Conference. beadisciple.com is an agency that works with discipleship ministries and has approval from the United Methodist Church to offer our lay servant ministry courses. They have also developed the 4 CLM modules in beadisciple.com, and they work independent of any particular conference. Because the Baltimore-Washington Conference has developed a very comprehensive certified lay minister training through our 4 modules, which is particular to our conference character and our conference needs, we have in the past not accepted the beadisciple.com online modules. However, as time has gone by, especially in the year we're in now, it has become obvious that our requirement for face-to-face instruction may not be able to suit everyone who feels called to this role. So we were asked to consider approving the beadisciple.com courses. And our conference committee went through a year of study to do just that. And we were fortunate to work with a person who had taken the face-to-face module and for her own personal reasons had taken a module with Be a Disciple. And she agreed to share with us how the two align, how our program and the online program align, and where the gaps are. And that was very helpful to our committee. We were able to speak with her and find out where the gaps are, where are the things that we require that she wouldn't have done if she had taken all 4 modules online. And we have developed guidelines for the online CLM modules that I'd like to share with you now. The first thing we want to say out the gate is we do encourage all our CLM students to take the live modules that we offer at the conference. They're suited to our conference needs, and we will develop relationships within our conference. But we understand that that's not always possible. So students might take the online modules offered by beadisciple.com as long as the following guidelines are followed. Before you sign up for the online courses, complete the Baltimore-Washington Conference CLM application package, which is online. We have an extensive application process, and it includes some discernment time. And if you just sign up from the course, we won't know at the conference level that you've done that. So we need you to fill out that application package, get the required signatures, and submit it and be approved to go ahead and take the classes first. That's the first step. When you're in your training, meet regularly with a Baltimore-Washington Conference CLM mentor who will be assigned to you. Our study case, she reported back to us that she had that kind of a relationship with a mentor and her instructor, and she said that was very valuable because she could take what she was learning online and connect it to our own conference requirements. So as our conference committee has decided that we will assign mentors to folks who are taking the beadisciple.com modules for that purpose. We also will require that folks taking the online courses complete both the ministry covenant and the demonstration project assignments that are so pertinent to our program. We will ask you to submit, if you're an online student, a statement from your instructor saying that you have successfully completed each module. That way we can track your progress and we know what's happening. I had the opportunity to meet the online instructor, and I had a conversation with him about our requirements and the guidelines we were talking about, and he has agreed to be able to supply that to us, to the student who will send it to the conference. Once your training is complete on beadisciple.com, you need to follow the same requirements that all the CLMs had to follow at that point in their progress. Complete an affirmation form with signatures, follow the next steps that are outlined in that document, and go through all the steps, including the DCOM interview, the Conference Committee on Lay Servant Ministries procedures that we've talked about for all. We hope this will provide a good merging of the online experience with our own conference training. But again, we think it's best if at all you can take our conference live courses to do that first. And these are the guidelines that will be required of you if you sign up and after you've had gone through the application project. So I hope that's been helpful to you, and I commend that to you for your understanding during the upcoming years. We have some other updates, and I'm going to ask Deborah to begin now to go over a few of those with you. Deborah?
I'm gonna pause you for a minute, if I may. Your information has been outstanding, and we've had some questions come in that I thought would be good to ask before the updates. And if a question will be answered, just kind of give me one of those. Yep, we'll answer that later on. So here's some of the questions. I'm just going in no particular order. So have any basic classes been offered? Is the conference offering basic classes? Some people who have signed up for the spring classes because they were canceled due to COVID, what do they do now?
Deb will tell you that in just a moment.
Okay. Where would someone purchase a lay speaker book?
A lay speaker book? There are a lot of books. I have a whole stack of them behind me.
The catalog, Bill? The
You mean
catalog?
the catalog? The catalog is a free download. And
Where would they, they'll show you where?
We'll provide that link.
Now, if someone is taking an extensive Bible study other than one that's being offered by the conference, what do they have to do to see if that's acceptable for recertification?
We have recently looked at those kinds of things once again, and right now the conference is accepting approved lay servant ministry courses only. I had talked with someone at the upper room specifically about this, and her concern is that lay servant ministries is a broader approach in many cases, and that's something that you're doing for your own edification. That would not fall under the ways that we recertify. It's a good thing to do, but we don't have that same standardization with just any course that you want to take. And I know there are large time-eating, consuming courses that are valuable, but it's not the same thing as a lay servant course at this time. But I would certainly ask the question of your district director and see where we are with that. But right now, that is not in the same realm of coursework that we have now.
Mm-hmm.
If a CLM doesn't want to continue, but they want to change categories, let's say, to become a certified lay servant or lay speaker, what would they have to do to switch categories?
Ladies, do you have anything to offer?
Well,
everything.
Yes. Well, first of all, the person would still have to have a lay servant or speaker certification. So to me, and I'm just thinking off the top of my head, it would just be a declaration that I no longer want to continue in that CLM process, but want to continue with the lay speaker or the lay servant category. I think it would just be a matter of having a conversation. And I think one of the things, Bill, I want to emphasize on this call is the importance of people speaking with your conference lay servant director. Okay. We know what's going on in our districts, and we are more than willing to help you through this process.
I agree. And if you've kept your recertification up, then you're fine. You could just do what Carol suggested.
Yeah.
But you've got to have kept your recertification up.
Now this one, you may have answered that, but someone's asking about a lay speaker who doesn't want to preach. Should they be a lay speaker or should they be a certified lay servant?
I think that's an important question. And however, the importance is that there is a list of courses that we take. There is the training, but to be a lay speaker, you just need to take, you have to keep up with the requirements. Would you mind repeating the question? I want to make sure I'm answering it correctly.
If a certified lay speaker does not want to preach,
Okay, I'm sorry.
Is the best role for them as a certified lay speaker? Should they be a certified lay servant? Is there a requirement that certified lay speakers preach?
If you're going to seek out being a lay speaker, you will very possibly be required to preach the word. You will also possibly be asked to fill in for a pastor that may be gone several weeks. I mean, it could be less, but there is that possibility. You will be expected to preach in addition to other things that go along with maintaining that service. So it's specifically for that role that you feel called and take those training courses for. But it's okay if you don't want to, but you should remain a certified lay servant where you're asked to serve in many different ways within the church.
Okay, now looking at a different level, for a certified lay minister, I got to get all of these designations correct.
That's good. You're doing good.
Doing well.
I'm still learning too, so
You're
that's
doing
good.
well.
Are they required to do ministry at the conference level?
Required? No, I don't think so. You can, most of our CLMs work with a local church. Some, now once a person is certified as a certified lay minister, remember the district superintendent can call upon them to do things at various levels. And that happens. That
But
has happened.
They can also say no.
Absolutely.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I just want you, unlike clergy, when the district superintendent calls, sometimes we have a different set of expectations, but I want certified lay ministers to know that they have those options. Now, a few more questions and then we'll move on. If somebody is not sure if they've submitted forms in the past, like submitting an application for certification for a course or for lay ministry or for other designations, how could they find out if they did submit the necessary forms?
Ladies. That's where your district directors are important.
Yeah, come in.
Okay.
Go to your district director first. They should have the record.
To them. Okay.
Yeah. And it's easy enough for us to help them, Bill.
Excellent. Now, and I'm guessing certified lay ministers, can they marry people? Can they administer the sacraments? Can they perform funerals?
They cannot perform the sacraments. That doesn't change. There are a few things that probably need to be said too.
Yes.
They are not paid. They do not receive any monetary compensation. They are not ordained. This is not an ordination. This is a lay position. This is a voluntary lay position. They can assist with a funeral. We are trained in our modules about funerals, and some have, at the request of a pastor, done a funeral. They can assist with a pastor doing the sacraments, but then again, so can any lay person.
Right.
Yeah, but no, we are not ordained. We are not paid. We do not we do not celebrate the sacraments.
Thank you. And one last question, then we'll move on. Is there a minimum or maximum time frame to complete the 7 required classes?
For
Lay speaker.
Must be lay speaker.
Lay speaker. They put initials, so certified lay speaker.
Yes. Deb?
We'd like to see them take them as soon as they're offered in their district as possible. However, we've had some folks that have taken some of the classes a couple years ago, a few years ago, before the change took effect, that we will accept that. However, there's some of the courses have been updated, so it would be great to know that they were willing to take those, to receive those updated subjects, etc. So we'd like to keep it in a normal range, not to get too far out there, but we have accepted courses that were taken in the past before we made these changes.
May
Thank
I
you.
also add to that?
Yeah.
They can't be too old because of what I
Yeah.
said about the courses being
Right.
aligned and
Yes.
updated with each
Yeah.
legislation.
Right.
I had one person request to use courses from the 90s, and that was nowhere near the same thing. So yeah, that's back too far. The 2000s, I mean, it should be in a reasonable time.
Okay. Just an announcement. Several people have asked. Yes, tonight is being recorded and it will be available on the conference website later this week. I do know the slides were emailed out this evening. If you did not receive the slides, don't worry. They too will be posted to the conference website later this week when the video is posted. So don't worry if you missed something, it will be available. And with that, I'm going to, believe it or not, be quiet and let you all continue.
Okay, so I'm going to move on to our updates for Grace for coursework. This update is concerning Grace being extended for our coursework, and it concerns only those lay members of Baltimore-Washington Conference who must take courses to certify or recertify this year, 2020. First, we want to say that all lay members are encouraged to take that approved advanced lay servant course for recertification offered by the districts. Although classes were canceled or postponed due to the COVID-19 virus, there are classes being offered now through virtual platforms across the conference. We are asking members in need of a course to make every effort to take advantage of these offerings. The conference understands that it may not be possible for all lay members to take virtual classes. Therefore, the period of grace will be extended for certification and recertification coursework for this year 2020, with the understanding that all required coursework must be completed in 2021. Now, if conditions warrant changing that date, the conference committee will consider that at that time. Those in need of this extension of grace should upload in the annual report a document stating that they are using the extension for 2020. And all others should upload their certificates of their course completion for the classes they took. A sample would read, and insert your name, accept the extension of grace for my required course completion for the year 2020. No reason is required on that form. It is very important to understand that using this statement should have no effect on the lay member status during this recertification year. Now, we'd like to display a part of the annual conference, church conference form for your annual report. And just point out that once you have created your extension of grace document, get that ready, then as you can see from what we're displaying, there is, you're going to go down to 2.3a. And
That's right there.
that's, that is where you're going to be asked for the date of last year's course, because the report retains your information that you entered last year. So that date is in there, and you should leave that there. Don't be concerned about that. And then go down to 2.3b, which is asking for the title of the course. Well, that's where you're going to put in the statement. You're going to write in Statement of Grace. And then move down to 2.3c. And that's where you're going to upload your statement that you have ready, the Statement of Grace that you prepare. And then that will take care of that. And remember, this is no reflection, any negative reflection at all. It is just, we will understand from that you are unable to complete that course that you need for this year. Okay, so now we're going to talk a little bit about the virtual online courses. As some are aware already, districts are offering lay servant classes taught through Zoom or other virtual platforms, at least during this year. These classes are directly led by an instructor present during the class. As always, remember that classes on beatdisciple.com must be labeled Lay Servant Ministries in the affiliation column, not Certified Lay Ministry. It must say Lay Servant Ministries. There are and will be basic classes taught via virtual platform this year. But at this time, the preaching courses must be taught live and in person. And if that changes, we will notify everyone. For current resources that are available to you, there is the 2020 Lay Servant Ministries catalog, which can be found through a website link, and that's listed below. That'll take you in to look at those courses that you might need or want to take, and just to see what's available. There's also the 2016 Book of Discipline. And then there's a couple links there. One is for Discipleship Ministries, and the other is the conference website for Lay Servant Ministry information. And now Carol is going to add some reminders for us all.
Thank you, Deb. This is my favorite part of this presentation. Keep track of your own records. Submit them as required on time. Hallelujah. When I went to my own lay servant report for this year, I found that all of my classes that I had recorded in previous years were there. So I just said, thank you, God, that they were there. But please keep track of your own records. Submit them as required on time, please. As servant leaders, we are called to be accountable and responsible for our own training and records. Certified lay servants, certified lay speakers, and certified lay ministers must keep track of their training requirements and dates, and please submit them on time to your district director, conference certified lay minister director. Please submit them to your directors and not directly to your EAs, I'm sorry, the title, to the district administrators, I'm sorry. Please do not submit them, if at all possible, not to them, unless you don't have a person right now. But we really want to involve our district directors of Lay Servant Ministries and to really keep us in the loop. We are your friends. We want to help you and make sure that you do well. Okay, the last slide that I'm going to talk about is, and I just said, for more information, contact your district Lay Servant Ministry director. Here are the directors who are listed here. In the Annapolis district, we are in the process of assigning someone. Someone has not been assigned right this minute. Baltimore Metro is Elizabeth Stemley. Baltimore Suburban is also working on a person. In Central Maryland, Rod Fry and Pamela Matthews Plummer are your directors. In Cumberland Hagerstown is Wanda Barkdahl. In Frederick, it's Patrick McCourt and Deb Sims, who's on the line here. I am the Greater Washington person. And in Washington East are the doctors Delilah and Gregory Parham. More information about what we've just said can be found on the website. And I believe I'm turning it over to Christine, who's going to walk us through what you need to do on site. So take it away, Christine. Okay, Bill has a finger up. That's okay.
It's a good break because I know there are people who have a lot of questions about the forms, and they will be in their good hands, but some questions about certifications and different designation. Someone had a question about CLM mentors. How are they selected? Do you have requirements to be a mentor?
Actually, we haven't developed requirements for that. That's just something we know we want to have. If people are interested, people are CLMs and would be interested in mentoring someone taking the online course, please let me know.
So I hear one requirement, they already have to be a CLM.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Good point, Mr. Brown.
Well, you're welcome. What if after you take all of the classes, you don't pass the interview? What then?
That has happened occasionally. Usually the decon, I guess you're talking about CLMs. Speakers have to be interviewed as well, but by a different body.
They just said interview. They did not.
Okay.
They said 2 years of classes. So
whoever is interviewing you, either the district committee for lay speaker or the DCOM for CLM, during the course of that interview, you will know why what is being decided is being decided. I'm sure something will be shared with you to help you to move to the next step or do what needs to be done. That's an individual situation.
Okay. If someone is certified as a lay servant in another conference and is now living, residing, worshiping within this conference, can they recertify, or do they have to take the basic course over?
If they come in already certified and can bring with them or get from their district or conference that they left their records, they can transfer into a district, but we have to see their certification records from the place they've come. Yes,
but if their credentials expire, they have to start over again?
Yes.
Okay.
Everyone does. That's whether in the same district, that's true. Yeah.
I like it to be clear for people. Just
Absolutely.
I don't know the answer to this, but are district committees meeting at this time to interview CLM candidates?
Yes, some of them are. Each district has its own schedule for its DCOM. I suppose Dr. Cogman can answer that as well, if you want to ask her, but I know that some are meeting now. I get reports from them, and we just voted on a group of CLMs last week. Dr. Cogman, do you want to add anything?
You're absolutely correct. Yes, DCOMs are meeting to support the CLMs. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm also answering questions as I'm asking questions. Now, how would, and maybe I'm going to ask you to stay on, Dr. Cogman, what would a CLM need to do if they feel called to go to the local pastor training?
Good question.
So basically a CLM, and I'm assuming that you answered me the question, I saw Linda looking at me, would basically have a conversation with his or her pastor that they feel called to do this, and we will get started with the process that's outlined in the book of discipline for moving them forward. And there's certain steps that have to be taken once they have a conversation with their pastor, assign a mentor, going through the initial book, and then going before the DCOM so that we can send them forward to the next step. So the first step is to have that conversation with his or her pastor.
If I'm trying to read this question quickly, can a CLM teach classes that they have taken to be recertified? Can they count teaching classes for recertification?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
In our district, we've had 2 and 1 more just in this one of our courses that are being taught this fall on Zoom. 2 are both being done by CLMs.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Here's a more complicated question. So I think also Dr. Cogman, stay on for this one too. We have a CLM who is serving as in a local church as the pastor of the local church, and they have not been assigned a mentor, and they've been serving outside of their home church for about 2 years. But they have to have a recommendation now from their church council or church conference of their home church to continue recertification, but they may not know them as well as the church they're serving. Someone else has told them that the church they're serving can provide the recommendation for recertification. So I guess the basic question is, which is correct?
So basically, it goes, if you have a CLM that is currently serving as a pastor of a church, then they still have a home church. And although they have been out of that home church for a while, it would primarily be a combination. They will basically go with the district superintendent, have a conversation with the district superintendent so that we can ascertain that they're meeting the requirements for their recertification.
Okay. I'm going to just
You know, Bill, and Bill, you know, also too, I think this conversation really brings up the fact of our need to communicate with pastors of our churches. That really should be the first step of anything that we need to have done. So I can't emphasize that enough. So we want people to succeed. Mm-hmm.
Here's what I hear you saying, Carol.
Mm-hmm.
We need to ask our pastor,
yes,
ask our district director, ask our conference director, ask our district administrator, ask our district superintendent.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Just
Okay.
keep people in the loop, Bill, you know? Yes, just communicate.
Yes. It's a lot to remember. Ask.
Now, if somebody was certified under the previous designation as a certified lay speaker, are they grandfathered in their words, or do they take the courses to be certified under the new designation?
Depends on what they want to be. Are they trying to be a speaker or a servant? Are they called to do what Deb described as a certified lay speaker? If so, they need to go through the new requirements to be a certified lay speaker. If I was originally, I think all of us were originally certified as lay speakers because that's what it was called back then. And there were no other pathways. Mm-hmm. And sure, everything I had said I was a certified lay speaker. And when this changed, if I hadn't gone to another category, I would have been a lay servant. And it's not a demotion. It just means that you're in this category that isn't focused on speaking.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a change of title, not a change of education. But if you're going to a different designation, you have to have the appropriate training for that designation.
Yes.
Right, and it doesn't mean that you're not important. It's not the hierarchy. It's just a different title of what you do and explains a different role that you have.
There might even be a scripture about the variety of gifts, but the same spirit.
Absolutely.
Right.
Oh,
that's very good.
It's a good idea.
You know, Bill, also, when the change was made, my understanding that it was made because the servant role really categorized more of what we were doing. We were not doing a lot of speaking, but we were doing serving. So that was the basic course, the basic designation that we started with. So we went from lay speakers to lay servants. That is the biggest question I get when we do our local. I've been a lay speaker. Well, so was I. Yes. But we have new things we need to do. So get on board and let's move forward. Okay.
But the confusing part is when that change happened, the pathway that was for speaking, for preaching, for communicating was given the title lay speaker, which was an old title for something else. Right. So, and it was confusing. At that time that speaker became focused on just those things that Deborah explained.
Right. And not to be prophetic, but I am sure at some point, once we get everything understood, there'll probably be another change.
I hope not, Bill. I'm just happy.
You could be right, though.
Our courses are
I'm sorry,
still
I won't be director then.
Okay. Okay. A couple more questions, and then
Sure.
we'll get into some of the nitty gritty. If somebody is in the middle of a course that does not finish until after charge conference, how do they reflect that on the form?
That's the problem with fall courses.
Yes, yes, it is.
That's the problem.
I think I'm going to suggest we change that because we do that in the Frederick district. And yes, it is a problem, but we've been able to get through it through getting approval through church conference, church council.
Church council. Mhm.
Thank you, church council.
Mhm.
And we've been able to get through by being approved,
Mhm.
especially if we're gonna have a course that will be right at the end, but still happening. And
This
you're
year.
gonna have to allow them to be voted upon.
Absolutely. Mhm.
Now, one last question and we'll move on. And I've gotten this several times and I know the answer to this, but I just want to make it clear. Does this evening's webinar count as any type of recertification?
No. You know, the one thing we didn't, we talked about it, but we didn't emphasize it tonight, is a Lay Servant Ministries course is 12 hours of instruction time.
Right.
I mean,
Well,
10 hours.
10.
10 hours of instruction time.
Wasn't
We
that?
didn't spend 10 hours together.
Yeah, no.
This is for information and edification.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we'll leave it at that. And we're still
we
glad
have
you're here,
tried this
even if you're
today.
not getting credit for it. And that's why
Absolutely.
a lot of people drop off the call because it's still very important. And with that, I know we're getting into an area where I've had lots of questions, Christine. Arena and forms and how long are things stored in Arena. And I know you're going to cover all of that and make us all the wiser. So take it away.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies, for the wealth of information that you have shared with us thus far. So this evening, I have been tasked with helping you to find the information that has been referenced earlier in the presentation. So we'll get started by heading to the conference website, www.bwcumc.org. To find the Lay Servant Ministries information, you will hover over Ministries, then Leadership Development, and then click on Laity Development. On this page, you will find detailed information on certified lay servants, certified lay speakers, certified lay ministers, the Lay Ministry Leadership Directory, and a link to the trainings offered, including a link to beadisciple.com. Let's begin by clicking on the Lay Ministry Leadership Directory. Here you will find the contact information for district lay leaders, district directors of Lay Servant Ministries, Conference Committee on Lay Servant Ministries, and finally, information for each of the district committees on ordained ministry, also known as DCOM. This information is useful for those who are seeking approval and recommendation for certification or renewal as a certified lay minister. Next, let's explore our certified lay certifications provided on the main Laity Development page. Under each certification description, you will see a Learn More button, which will take you to that specific certified lay page. Each of the certified lay pages will list the requirements for the certification and renewal and frequently asked questions. Additionally, there is a link to view the list of upcoming classes being offered. From the certified lay servant and speaker pages, you can download the certified lay servant and speaker application form. You will use this form to apply for your initial certification and your certification renewal. The instructions are provided on the application. The application process for a certified lay minister differs from the certified lay servant and speaker application. To access the CLM application package, you will need to navigate to the certified lay minister page by clicking on the Learn More under the certified lay minister description. Now, let's go back to the Laity Development page by clicking offered. We will see that all of the certified lay courses being offered are organized by districts. However, you may take classes in any district. Typically, the courses are also listed on the conference events website calendar. If we go back to the top of the page, you will also see a link for the Be a Disciple site. This link will take you directly to the courses that have been approved by Discipleship Ministries. By scrolling down the page, you will see all of the courses currently being offered. Click on a course title for more information and to register. Or you can choose to navigate directly to the Be a Disciple site without going to the conference website. If you do so, you will need to hover over courses from their menu and select either course schedule or course catalog to view the courses currently being offered. For our purposes, let's click on course schedule. Here you will see a listing of courses as you scroll down. It is important to take note of the affiliation indicator. Be sure that the course affiliation listed says Lay Servant Ministry. This will ensure that you are choosing courses that have been approved by Discipleship Ministry. Now let's transition to completing the required annual certified lay report. But before we go to the reports in arena, there's a quick refresher from last week's church conference training session. It is recommended that you use the worksheets provided before completing any reports in arena. This will ensure that you have all the information required before logging into arena to complete and submit your report. To navigate to church conference worksheets from the conference website, hover over resources, then click on church conference forms. From here, you can click on worksheets to drop down to the worksheet section. There you will see the 3 certified lay ministry report worksheets: certified lay servant, certified lay speaker, and certified lay minister. To download a worksheet, click on the one that pertains to you. If you are unsure about your status, please talk to your church administrator or your district administrator. It is important to note that these reports are only completed by those who have completed the necessary requirements. In other words, if you are beginning the process of becoming a certified lay, you do not need to complete the report for certification if you are still working towards achieving that certification. You will only complete the report for the certification you currently hold. So if you are working on becoming a CLM and you have not completed that, you would complete the certified lay servant or the certified lay speaker report, depending on what your certification is. Don't forget that to be in good standing, each certified lay servant and certified lay speaker must complete an annual report in arena and take a recertification class every 3 years, and certified lay ministers must complete an annual report and be certified every 2 years. A quick reminder about reports, that they must be completed and submitted in arena. Nothing should be mailed to the district offices unless requested. This also includes certificates. Please upload them to your certified lay report where required. Last week, we looked at the certified lay servant report. This week, we will look at the certified lay speaker and minister reports. To submit our reports in arena as required, click on the arena link located at the top of the conference webpage. Click on the login button, then input your username and password. For training purposes, we will be logging in under the church's account, and we will need to click on church conference forms. However, when you log in under your personal arena account, you will click on My Church Conference forms. If you do not see a certified lay report listed, please contact your church administrator or the designated person handling the church nominations report to be added under the church's lay servant ministry roster. If you completed a report last year, the information you input should carry over to this year. This includes the certificates. Important note, if you don't have any actual certificates for a class, please contact your district director of Lay Servant Ministry. It is important that you have the actual certificates uploaded to the system. We will begin with our certified lay speaker report. To be considered a certified lay speaker, you need to complete the required 6 courses. If you are a certified lay servant in the process of becoming a certified lay speaker, you will complete the certified lay servant report until you have successfully completed all 6 required courses to become a certified lay speaker. As we scroll down, you will be asked to provide the date first approved by the Conference Committee on Lay Servant Ministries, the date of your last recertification course, and title of your last recertification course. You will then need to upload your last advanced course certificate. Uploading certificates and certified lay reports is a little different than uploading a document in any of the other arena reports. Let's click on Change in the certified lay report, and you will see that we are requesting additional information. You have the option to select what kind of document you are uploading, and you get to create a title. I suggest adding a class name and the title and putting in the description. If you are uploading a new document, you would choose File, select Choose File, and this will take you to the files on your computer where you will select your file and then you will click Save. Now you have uploaded your certificate. If your certification was due to expire this year, this is where you would upload your document containing the statement of grace. As you scroll down further, you will see that you will be asked to list all of the classes you've taken under each of the specific categories listed. Please note that if you have not satisfied the requirement for each category, you are considered a certified lay servant. Now, if we scroll down, we can complete the rest of the report. If you are still collecting information, you can select In Progress and Submit. However, if you select In Progress, everything in red with an asterisk needs to be answered before you make your selection and click Submit. We suggest using TBD as a placeholder. If you have completed your report, please select the Complete button and click Submit. You will see on the screen a thank you for your submission. Once you have completed the report, click the Print button to retain for your records. Now let's navigate to our Certified Lay Minister. As we scroll down, you will see that you will be asked to provide the date of completion for each of the 4 modules. Next, you will be asked to provide the date of your original certification by DCOM, that's the District Committee on Ministry, date of your last recertification course, and title of the last recertification course. You will then need to upload your last advanced course certificate following the same directions provided for the other certified lay reports. As a reminder, if your certification was due to expire this year, this is where you will upload your statement of grace document in place of your most recent certificate. And finally, if we continue to scroll down, you will need to provide the date of your current certification by DCOM, which may be the same as your date of original certification. Now, scrolling down, we can complete the rest of the report. Again, if you are still collecting information, you can click on In Progress and then Submit. However, be reminded that if you do select In Progress, everything in red with asterisks needs to be answered before you make your selection and click Submit. Again, we suggest using TBD as a placeholder. If you have completed your report, please select the Complete button, then click Submit, and you will see on the screen a thank you for your submission. Once you have completed the report, click on the Print button and retain for your records. Finally, for clarification purposes, all certified lay whose certification expires in 2021 or 2022 should upload their most recent course taken. If your certification expires in 2020 and you were not able to take a recertification course, you are to upload a statement of grace in place of your most recent certification course certificate. If your certification expired in 2020 and you were able to take a recertification course, upload your most recent certification course certificate. This grace has been extended to all certified lay servants, speakers, and ministers whose certification expires at the end of 2020. However, we do encourage you to visit the trainings we offer page to check out the virtual courses being offered in an effort to assist you in fulfilling your certification requirement for 2020. That is the end of this portion.
Thank you, Christine. I'm just juggling a few questions that are coming in on multiple devices tonight, so that's wonderful. For you, Christine, how many training certificates can be stored in a laity's arena record?
So what I do is I combine all of my certificates into one file, and then I just upload that into that, so that way they're all being retained versus only uploading the most recent. So that's a kind of backdoor way into having the system keep all of your certificates. But again, it is up to the certified lay. It's their responsibility to maintain their certificates.
Now, if somebody needs to, let's say maybe they haven't kept copies of some of their completion certificates, or maybe the dog ate their homework, I don't know, but they need to get a copy of those. Who would they get them? Who would they reach out to? Would they be emailed? Would they be mailed? How does that happen?
So it really does depend per district on how if they're maintaining those certificates, because ultimately, again, it is the certified lay's responsibility to maintain their certificates, but life does happen. And so there may be a possibility to recover those certificates. So I would say reach out to your district directors first. You can also reach out to your district administrators. We may have it in a file, possibly. Might not be as successful with the DAs, but there is a possibility.
So I think we can't stress it enough. Keep your files, keep your files, keep your files. Okay. So big questions about the Annapolis district. Since they don't have a director, where would someone send their CLS application?
Well, I had that question from someone in that district just yesterday. I know that first of all, that there will be a director, and the DS is working on that. She sent me a message today and said that yes, indeed, they're working on that. I understand that there will be people in the Annapolis district who will need their certificate to finish their annual report, but they don't know where to get it from. I am going to offer to do that for those people, and note that it is for the Annapolis district. If they would like to send me at my email address the basic and advanced course certificate and their application, I will review it and make sure that they have their certificate as a whatever they're seeking. That is important that we be able to do that for them, and I'll be happy to do that.
And they can
interim.
find your information on the conference website.
And in the slides. It was
in the slides. And I know we don't know when a district director for Annapolis will be announced. I know we don't know that. How will it be announced? Do we know that?
It's usually through the district superintendent's office.
Okay. My gracious, let me see. Forms, forms that confirm if somebody has taken a class, will they still be sent out in a timely manner?
Course completion certificates?
Yes, that's what I'm guessing.
I would think so. Yeah. Directors, would you change, would that be true? And you're,
Even though Carol is muted, I can read her lips and she said, absolutely.
You
what I
know,
thought.
Bill, absolutely. I fixed it.
You fixed it. Now we have, one of our participants is a deaconess and a certified lay speaker. Will classes that they take for deaconess be accepted in the lay speaker path?
I've never been asked that question before, and I don't, there's one that stumps all of us.
I would suggest they reach out offline to their district director.
There you go.
If not,
That's it.
reach out to you offline. But I'm glad we can write down in my journal tonight that we stumped the district and conference directors.
It's a whole new
Write that
situation.
in
A whole
mind.
new situation. I'm going to go through some of our other questions. So if you want to continue with, I know there's some final updates and I will look through our final questions. So carry on.
I think
We
we're done.
tell him we don't think we have any more.
You can tell me that and I can hear you. Okay, so let me go through. We've got like 3 minutes. Let's go through some of these questions if I can.
Okay.
If someone's taken more than one class for recertification, but only one class is required, can they upload all their certificates if they want to?
Yeah.
They add them all in one file, then that's the way to be able to get all of their certificates, because the report only allows one file to be uploaded, but it doesn't limit how many pages the file is.
Often big.
So you can
Good
just
point.
add them.
So they can upload only one file, but that one file can be 100 pages if they want.
Well, I'm sure there's a limit to that, though. But I'm sure that then be able to hold on to at least 5 certificates.
Now, if someone takes a class, if they took a class in the fall of 2020, can that count towards recertification in 2021?
Yes.
Yes.
Should be filing a report this year though, Bill, if they've
Yeah.
taken it.
Why would they
need to file a report every year. Yeah, right?
I just ask the questions. I
No,
don't
I'm
come
just-
up
I'm
with
just
the
saying,
questions.
Of course not.
I'm like the game show host. I just ask the
know.
questions.
And
I don't
doing
make
a
them
great
up.
job too.
Yes, you are.
This
Carol's
one-
right. I mean,
this one's a little
yeah,
confusing.
it's good for 3 years,
yeah.
but 2 or 3 years, depending on who it is. But you have to do an annual report every year,
Every
whether
year.
you're up for recertification or
Yeah.
not. So
Right.
Can you become, I think I know the answer to this, but I don't want to, I want to be correct. Can you become a certified lay minister by doing the certified lay servant course only? Or do you have to do the certified lay speakers course next before moving on to the certified lay minister? So do you have to go from one to the other is what I'm guessing the question is.
who wants to answer it?
No,
No,
No.
no,
it's
So
not a hierarchy.
it's not a
One-
hierarchy.
Yeah,
So
can
if,
be
Or set of
any one of
steps.
those 3.
so
But you have to be certified.
if
right.
I can understand it, then I think others can. So if I am nothing and I want to be a certified lay minister, I can, after getting all the applications and approval, I can start on that track.
No,
No,
Right,
so
right.
I have to.
no, that's a different question.
Okay,
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just
Um,
making sure.
Remember, certified lay servant is the starting point for everything.
Right.
Now you can stop there and be a certified lay servant, absolutely, if that's what you're called to do. But you can't be a speaker unless you're a servant first. You
Right.
can't be a CLM unless you're a
To
servant.
the servant first.
So it all starts with certified lay servant, and then from there,
Yes.
the sky's the limit. As long as
Yes.
you get the training. Okay.
Yes.
Now, if someone signed up for a class that was canceled and they've received a credit, can they use that for an online class, that credit?
Got it.
I'm almost sure. And it seems like I had that situation, Bill, at one time. They're two different systems. It's the Baltimore-Washington Conference system versus the Be a Disciple system. And they're two different systems.
So
They could use the credit. They could use the credit within the Baltimore-Washington Conference,
Okay.
but not move it outside to another entity.
Let me add a little something to that within the district. So
Oh, okay.
if you've been given a credit for that district, they can apply it for a class within that district.
Okay.
If you are seeking to take a class in another district, then they would need to get a refund to be able to.
Okay. Great. Okay. Thanks, Christine.
Didn't you ask if they could use it toward a Be a Disciple course?
Yeah, he
You
did.
said online course, so I think
Oh,
we
sorry.
could say if it's for Be a Disciple course, no.
Mhm.
If it's for an online Zoom course that their district is offering, yes.
Okay.
If it's an online Zoom course that another district is offering, no.
No.
You have to get a refund. Okay.
Okay.
Great. Thank you. That's a good clarification because I've not had that yet. Okay. Thanks.
For the CLM courses, do you have to take the modules in order?
Yes.
That was an easy one. Is an application required with each yearly report? No, okay. Unless you have a different question, the application is only when you are first starting, not every year.
No, it's when you're recertified.
Right.
When you
That's
research.
correct.
I understand.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are in need of recertification, you would resubmit your application. So it's either every 3 years for speakers and servants. They would need to do the reapplication, but everybody has to do an annual report every year.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Now, if someone is just starting with their lay servant certification, do they fill out the annual form?
If they become certified, yes. If they've just taken the basic course and haven't taken anything else or done anything else, no.
Okay.
You have to be certified first.
Right. And Bill, also, I would hope that that person or persons would at least have a conversation with their pastors to say, this is what I've done. And just, we need to keep our pastors in the loop. We're working together in what we're doing. Just talk to your pastors.
That goes back to what you were saying earlier, Carol. Communicate, communicate,
Absolutely.
communicate.
Absolutely.
Can I go back to that application question? Not to prolong
whenever
this,
you want.
but I think that there have been folks who do an application every time they take a course or something like that. There's nothing wrong with that, but you don't have to.
Okay.
Just more work for the district director.
This is a question for you, Christine. If last year's forms were uploaded using the Church Arena account, do you have to use the same process this year?
Absolutely not. It is tagged to, it's connected to the person's name. And this is where it becomes very important that in an attempt to get connected or access reports that we're not creating a new Arena account, because they are directly connected by what's in the church's nominations report. And so only the church would have access to do that, or the district office to be able to do that. So if they know that they've done a report last year and they log in and they don't see that, please contact the district office, because more than likely they have multiple accounts in Arena.
Okay. Well, friends, you have covered a lot of information. I'm going to just take a deep breath with everyone who's participating. Whew. I'm going to ask a little favor. I'm going to open up the chat box to our participants. If they could just please give you a word of thanks, because you have provided some great information. You can go down to the chat right now and you can give us a word of thanks to our panelists tonight. It's a lot of information. I just want you all to take a look at those as those come in. Because I know how challenging keeping track of all of this is, and you've done a fabulous job just laying it out very simply and succinctly. So thank you all very much. Stay tuned. We're now working on our Training Tuesday schedule for the fall. We have some wonderful opportunities that will be coming up for training for our laity and for our clergy. And then we'll be moving into training people for positions they may be taking within the local church beginning in 2021. So we'll have training this fall to help you prepare for your service in 2021. Of our people, of our panelists, has anybody taken the prayer workshop with any of our lay servant ministries?
Recently, I've taken several.
I've taken the prayer courses, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good. I'll let you all decide which will give the closing prayer since you've had the course. That's wonderful.
Carol would be
Thank you.
excellent.
Carol,
Carol would be
Absolutely.
terrific.
so would you please
Absolutely.
close us in prayer, Carol?
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, God. You are a wonderful, mighty God, and that you allowed us to be, once again, to be in your presence, God. We just thank you for just this day, and even for the rain that has come while we have been speaking, God. We just pray for all of our families, all of our churches, God, that we would continue to serve you, to make disciples for you, for the transformation of the world. It's a big, awesome job, God, but we're up to the task. So continue to equip us. Let us learn to use the technology. Let us help people who are not as proficient in the technology as they would like to be, God, because we all want everyone to be okay. God, let us be kind to each other. Let us not be afraid of each other. God, let us continue to work to bring this kingdom to come to pass. So thank you, God, as we go away from this place, but never from your presence. Keep us safe, God. Give us your grace and give us your peace and your mercy, God. Thank you. In the name of our precious Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, we pray this prayer. Amen.
Amen.
Try to unmute myself. Thank you all so very much
Thank
for
you.
your time tonight. And this has been recorded. It will be on the conference website with the PowerPoint later this week. So good night and God bless you all.
God bless you.
God bless you and thank
Good to
you.
see you, John C.
Amen.